I'm a full stack developer with total 7 years of experience in designing and developing web applications. So primarily I work with React.js to build interactive and responsive user interfaces. So along with the front-end development, I worked as a full stack developer with over 6 years of experience. So where I handle backend development using .NET Core VB.NET to build REST APIs, implementing business logic and integrating them with the front-end side. And I'm proficient in TypeScript, so which I use to write like more cleaner and scalable code for modern web applications. And I have around like 4 years of experience with Azure, so where I have leveraged cloud services such as Azure Functions, Azure Blobs, Azure Triggers, and like Azure App Services. And I basically I have worked on developing serverless solutions and automating business workflow, and I'm managing and securing APIs, and like I implemented cloud-based storage solutions. And I have around 3.5 years of experience with AWS also I have. So I have worked with such as CloudWatch I have worked, and then IAM I have worked. So in my project I basically focus, yeah.
Okay. So let's say in your recent project, I think it was a chat system. It is the recent one or which one?
Yeah, real-time chat application.
So how was it working?
Sorry, how it works?
Yeah.
Yeah, so real-time chat application, like it's I can say like it's a new vision that is real-time chat communication. So like it is an enterprise internal communication system. So we designed to like provide secure and instant messaging between users across the organization. So the front end we using React.js. So where I worked on developing responsive chat interfaces and like message components, user list, and real-time UI updates without page reloads. And backend we using .NET Core. And for real-time communications we use WebSockets Signal, so which like enables bi-directional communications between client and server. So this allowed like users to send and receive message instantly. So the system we develop, we have real-time messaging, and we have typing indicators, and we implemented security authentication using JWT. So these features we have implemented, and we also implemented features like online offline status, that like and read receipts and like notification file. And we implemented JWT based authentication to like ensure secure communications. So the application is designed to be scalable, and it supports multiple concurrent users with low latency.
Okay, nice. So let's say, I mean, how many users it was handling?
Users we have almost 100 to 200 users we have.
No. So let's say, if you help me walk through the end to end, let's say a user is requesting something and eventually we want to save it in the database. Suppose a normal form is being filled. Okay? So can you help me understand end to end how exactly this flow works? Right from the user clicks on submit or something.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. So like we can like when a user fills out form or like it clicks the submit button. So yeah, so React it first performs client side validation. Like if the validations passes, so it prepares the request payload in JSON format. Then React like it sends an HTTP post request to our .NET Core Web APIs using XJS method, and along with the JWT token in authorization header for authentication. So the request like it first reaches our authentication middleware where the JWT token is validated. If the token is valid, the request is forwarded to the appropriate controller, and then like the controller it performs server side validation, and it calls the service layer. So where the like business logic is implemented, and then the service layer, then it calls the repository layer, so which interacts the SQL server using entity framework code, and an EF code, like it generates the SQL query, and then it saves the data into the database, and it returns the result back to the service and controller. And finally, the API, it sends a successful response with status code 200 or 201. And on the React side, after receiving the success response, we update the UI, and like we show a success message and refresh the data if required. If any exception occurs, the API returns an like appropriate error code, and like React displays user-friendly error message. So that.
Yeah, correct. Exactly. So suppose, Saurabh, let's say API is giving the right response, which we can see, let's say, in the inspect element or even in the postman, but that is not being able to display on the UI properly, or maybe the data itself is not being displayed, but the response from API is correct. So how would you debug?
Yes. So yeah. So we like if the API response is correct, but the data is not displaying on the UI. So I would debug it step by step. Like first, I will check the network tab in Chrome DevTools to confirm the API is returning the expected response. Next, I will verify whether the data is reaching the React component by using console.log, or we have React DevTools. Then I will check the state management to ensure the API response is correctly stored using use state, or we have Redux or context. After that, I will verify the rendering logic, like whether the component is using the correct property names, whether optional chaining is needed, or if any conditional rendering is like preventing the UI from displaying the data. And I will also inspect the browser console for JavaScript error and check whether any CSS issues, such as like we have display none or like incorrect styling or layout problems. Yeah.
Perfect. That's enough. More than enough. Good. Okay.
Yeah.
So how different components, let's say, we want to interact with within the same application? How would you achieve that?
Can you come again, Action?
So if, let's say,
Yeah.
am I audible, sir?
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah. So let's say one component is, fetching the results from an API, and we want to send it to, let's say, two more components or to another component. Yeah. What would you use here?
Okay. Yeah. So like we if like it depends on the like relationship between the components. Like if it's a parent child relationship, so I would pass the data through props, or if the components are siblings, so I would lift the state up to the component parent, and then pass the data down through props. If multiple components like across the applications need the same data, then I would use Redux toolkit for global state management, and the API response is stored in the Redux store, and any component like it can access using use selector. And if a component like needs to update the data, so it dispatches an action using use dispatch. And like for a small application or data like themes or user presence, so preference, so we can use Redux, like React context API.
Okay. So when would you use Redux versus context API?
Yeah, Redux over context, like context API is like it is suitable for simple shared state, but Redux toolkit, like it provides centralized state management, so predictable updates, like it has middleware support, dev tools, and it is like better performance for large application. So my approach, like I prefer Redux toolkit over context API for large enterprise application. Like context API is mainly used to like avoid prop drilling, and like it is suitable for a small infrequently changing data like theme language or like logged in user information, then we can use context API. But Redux Toolkit is for like complex application because it provides centralized state management.
So, do you see the difference between use memo and use callback?
Yeah. So
When would you use?
yeah, so main difference is like use memo and use callback. Like use memo, it memoizes a value, whereas use callback, like it memoizes a function. So I use memo when like an expensive calculation or derived data should only be recomputed when it's like dependency change, and I use callback when I want to prevent a like function from being recreated on every render, specifically when passing callbacks to child components wrapped with React.memo.
Perfect. Yeah. And on JavaScript side, do you know what is closure?
Closure, yeah, I know. Yeah, so closure is like it is a JavaScript feature where like another function can access variables from its outer function, like even after the outer function has finished executing. So closure
Okay.
are created automatically whenever a function is defined inside another function, and the inner function remembers the lexical scope in which it was created. So in React, like closures are commonly used in event handlers, callbacks, hooks, and asynchronous function.
Perfect. Okay. Coming to this .NET side, so if let's say you've got multiple middlewares chained after each other, and you want to break the branch of the execution flow, so which extension method will you use here?
Yeah. So for like in ASP.NET Core, if I want to stop the middleware pipeline and like not execute the remaining middleware, so I simply do not call await next method. So if the request should end there, I write the response directly and return. So if I
Mhm.
want to branch the pipeline based on a condition or a specific route, I use when method or map method.
Okay. Yeah, that's correct. And also we can make use of app.map. Okay. So use is for
Yeah.
the next one. Yeah, run is for that. Okay. Let's say you want to upload large data set. For instance, data is big. Okay, you want to upload it. Or maybe basically you're uploading an image, okay, which is of large size. So what are the things you will consider while designing that API?
Yeah. So yeah, we can like if I need to design an API for uploading large files, so I would focus on the performance, scalability, and security. So
Yeah.
first, I use streaming instead of loading the entire file into memory to avoid high memory congestion. Second,
Mm-hmm.
I would validate the file type, like file size and content, to prevent malicious upload. So for very large files, I would implement chunked or multiple uploads, so
Mm-hmm.
that like the file can be uploaded in a small parts and resumed if the connection is interrupted. And I would
Correct.
also set appropriate request size limits in ASP.NET Core. So it's generate a unique file name and it store in the like store the file in the cloud storage, such as we have Azure Blob storage or on the
Mm-hmm.
file server instead of storing it in the database. And finally, I would add proper authentication like logging, exception handling, and so it runs progress or status to the client for a better user experience.
Nice. Okay. So do you see any difference between middleware and filters? When would you use
Yes,
what?
middleware. Yeah. Yeah, so the basic difference is like middleware executes for every HTTP request in the ASP.NET Core request pipeline before the like request reaches the
Globally.
controller and after the responses leaves the
Mm-hmm.
controller. So it is used for cross-cutting concerns like authentication, logging. We have CRS, exception handling, and routing. And filter like it execute inside the MVC pipeline around controller actions. So they are used for action specific concerns such as authorization, action validation, like result modification and exception handling. So middleware works at the application level, while filter it works at the controller or action level.
So have you used seed keyword?
Sorry,
seed keyword.
I'm not
Seed.
Seed yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, should I
What's the
explain?
usage? Yeah.
Yeah, so I have worked with database seeding in entity framework course. So that seed keyword.
Not seeding, bro. Sealed class.
You are saying something else, like database seeding you are.
Yeah. No. I was asking
sealed
about
class,
sealed keywords and seed usage in the class. Yeah.
Yes. Sealed keywords, yeah. Yes, so actually, it is a like I am familiar with the yield. So the yield keyword is like it is used to return elements one at a time, like from a collection. So instead of creating and returning the entire collection at once, it enables lazy execution, so which improves memory efficiency, especially when working with large data sets. So it is commonly used with I enumerable like T and can be returned using yield return to return the next item, or like yield break to stop the iteration.
And have you used content negotiation in your project?
Sorry, content negotiation.
Yeah.
Yes, I have used. So like it is a process by like which ASP.NET Core determines the like format of the response based on what the client requests. Like the client sends an accept header. For example, we have like application slash JSON or application slash XML, and the server it returns the response in the best matching format using the configured output formatters. By default, like ASP.NET Core returns JSON, but XML or other formats it can also be configured if required.
Where do we configure it?
So where do I configure it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like we configure content negotiation in program.cs, or we have like a startup.cs in older ASP.NET Core version.
Older one. Yeah.
While
that's enough. That's great. Okay. On Azure side, you said you have used some of the services. What are they?
Yeah, Azure side I worked Azure Blob, Azure Trigger, application management I have worked. Azure Functions I have worked, and yeah.
So what is the difference between Azure App Service and Azure Function?
Yeah, so the like the basic difference and the so Azure App Service and Azure Functions it serves different purposes. Like Azure App Services, it is used to host complete web applications like REST APIs or backend services. So it runs continuously, and we manage the application life cycle scaling, deployment, and configuration. But in Azure Functions, like it is a serverless compute services, so it executes code only when a specific event or triggers occurs, such as an HTTP request, or we have blob upload, like we have timer queue messages or event hub. So we don't manage the infrastructure, and billing is based on execution. So in my project, we use Azure App Services to the host like .NET Core Web APIs, while Azure Functions to like handle background tasks like file processing and event-driven operations.
Okay. So let's suppose how many actually design patterns have you implemented?
Sorry, can you?
Design patterns. How many design patterns have you used?
Yeah. So like I basically in my project I follows 4 or 5 design pattern. So first we have like I work repository pattern. I work to like separate data access logic from business logic. And then dependency injection, and we have factory pattern, we have singleton pattern, we have embassy pattern.
So what is the usage of any two of them which you can confidently let me know?
Yeah, so a repository pattern is basically used to like separate data access logic from business logic. So it like abstract the data like access layer from the business logic. So instead of the like controller directly accessing entity framework, it calls the repository, so which handles all the code, like all database operations. So this makes the code cleaner and easier to maintain, and like it simplifies unit testing. So flow is like controller, then it goes to service, then repository, then it goes to EF core, and then it goes to SQL server. And dependency
Okay.
injection is like it is a design pattern. It is used to achieve loose coupling between classes. So instead of creating
Okay.
object instances, yeah,
So sir, can you share the screen?
yes, sure. Yeah, can you see my screen? Yeah, I have shared my screen.
Yeah. Can you open Notepad?
Oh, yes.
I've given you a very small coding slide. You can take it from the chat and you try solving that.
Yes, sure. Okay.
If any confusion, let me know. It's just a string we are passing. We want to fetch the first non-repeating character.
Okay, yes, sure.
Yeah, try solving that.
Right, is yeah. Okay, so I just need to write the logic, or everything I need to write.
Yeah, logic is enough. Logic is enough. You don't
Okay,
have to
yeah.
create a class, function, no.
Okay, I don't need to create a class, right?
I mean, as you prefer, that's totally fine.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we have static uh, character. We have first none. First none. First none. Character. Yeah. Then, so Mm,
Saurabh, why did you choose the second parameter to be integer?
Hello.
Yeah, Saurabh. Why did you choose
Yeah. So, hello. Yes.
yeah.
Why I use dictionary, right?
Not dictionary. Why the second parameter in the dictionary is integer?
Uh, so because I create the actual dictionary and key is character and value is like frequency of the character. So example after processing Swiss, so character is like SWI and count is S is like 3 times and W is 1 and I is 1.
No. Here both parameter will be character because we're not looking for the frequency, right? We're just checking if it has appeared in the second time or not. So character as a second parameter will work. But I got the idea. Okay. So it's enough. Enough from my side. Only last question from SQL is, let's say a query is taking too much time to, fetch the value.
Yeah.
So what are the things you will do for diagnosis?
Yeah. So the thing when it okay, so in SQL, so if a SQL query like it is taking too much time, like I would use like I diagnose it step by step. Like first, I would check the execution plan to identify whether SQL Server is performing a table scan or an index scan instead of an index 6. And next, I would verify whether the appropriate indexes exist on the columns used in the where, join, order by, and group by clause. Then I would look for unnecessary joins like subquery or select star statements and like retries only the required columns. And I would also
Perfect.
check the query statistics using the set statistics IO and set statistics time to understand the logic reads and execution time. So if the tables are large, I would verify that the statistics are up to date and revealed or like
Good enough for me.
reorganized
Sorry.
fragment. Yeah.
Yeah. That's good enough for me. Wonderful. Thank you very much. I'll, share my update to HR and they'll reach out to you.